Alright guys, MTech Guy here. Now then, for you guys that have been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I've done a number of DIY videos on the E60 M5, and the videos that I've completed where I'm working under the hood, I've noticed that I often get comments about how clean my engine bay is, and then following on from that, I always get the questions about what do I do to keep it so clean. Can you please do a video on how to clean your engine bay? So that's what we're going to take a look at today. Okay, so let's go and have a look at the beast. Now this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, but it's been a bit awkward because I don't really let my engine bay get that dirty. I normally wash the car once a week and then usually give the engine bay just like a maintenance clean once every 2 or 3 months, so I don't really let it get that dirty. I don't like to let it get that dirty. So this video certainly isn't going to be a big before and after, you know, you're not going to see a huge difference, but I'll just run through the steps and what I do to give it a maintenance clean. So this video isn't going to be about a full-on wash down, degrease, full-on detail. This is just going to be this maintenance clean, just keeping on top of things. So if you've got to the stage where your engine bay's absolutely filthy, it's covered in dirt and grime, maybe you've got a few oil leaks going on, first thing you want to do is get the oil leaks sorted out, and then you want to be giving it a good clean down. And how I've normally done that with my other BMWs is giving it a good rinse down with a hose, not a pressure washer, just normally a garden hose, and I normally have the tap shut in about halfway, so there's like half the flow rate coming out the hose, and it's just literally you're just washing it down with the water, you're just sprinkling it on rather than having a huge amount of pressure blasting the engine, because you don't want to get water blasting in around your seals and your electrical connectors. And then I normally give it a good spray down with some Simple Green. I don't really use a dedicated engine degreaser or an engine cleaner. I've always found that Simple Green does a great job, as long as you wet the paintwork around the edges first, because it can sort of eat into that if you leave it on there too long. So I normally just dampen that down with the engine, spray it down with Simple Green, and then go around with my brush, give it a good agitation, get rid of any dirt and grime, and then give it another rinse down, and then I usually give it a bit of a dry and then just hit it all with a protectant. Now like I say, that's what I've done on all my other BMW engines, but I've been really reluctant to do that with the V10, just because it is quite a highly strung engine and it can be quite finicky at the best of times. You know, you've got these ionic modules, you've got 10 ignition coils, you've got 2 throttle actuators in the V of the engine there, so you start dousing everything with water, there's a huge potential for things to start going wrong. You're going to start getting issues if you get water into the wrong place. So I've been really reluctant to give this engine a real thorough wash down and detail. Now I was pretty lucky, I bought the car from the dealer initially, from a dealer, and it was relatively really clean when I got it. So I've been pretty lucky in regards to all I've had to do is maintain it. Now if yours is really dirty, it really wants a real thorough clean to start off with, you're going to want to go into that very carefully and very tentatively. I would certainly look at blocking off down the middle here, down the middle of the air boxes, and just trying to keep that water from getting in the V of the engine, because you've got a lot of equipment in the what sits in the V of the engine, a lot of electrical connectors, electrical equipment, you've got your throttle actuators, so you just want to keep the water from getting down there, and then you just want to be super careful around your ionic modules. And then of course your alternator, you're going to want to put like a plastic bag or something over the top just to act as a splash shield, but you're going to want to use as little water pressure as possible. You're going to want to take your time, and then straight after you've rinsed everything down, you've scrubbed everything and you've rinsed all the cleaning product off, you want to go through with like a leaf blower. I probably wouldn't use compressed air, but maybe a leaf blower just to get all that water blown off the engine as quickly as possible. And then of course finish off with a protectant just to give it a nice shine and a bit of protection. So it's certainly a process I'll be very anxious about diving into, especially with one of these engines. So if you've got any hesitation or doubt, it is worth going to speak to a car detailing specialist, run through with them what your concerns are, and then maybe they can carry out the process for you just to get that initial grime and muck down and give it a real thorough clean. And then the process we're going to talk about today is just, like I say, that maintenance clean. That's something easy you can look after yourself without the worry of introducing problems to your S85 V10. Alright, so as you can see, the engine bay is not looking that dirty. Like I say, it's not something I let get dirty if I can help it, but this is a video I often get asked about, so I thought I'd make the effort today just to run through the steps. So like I say, this is just a maintenance clean, and as you can see there's a bit of dust and dirt here and there, a few watermarks, So we're just going to give it a nice clean down, a bit of a shine, a bit of protection. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll go and grab my cleaning products, I'll stick the camera on my head, and then we'll run through the steps to give your E60 M5 engine bay a good clean. Alright, so let's take a look at what products we're going to be using today. So for the initial clean, spray and wipe down, we're going to be using Meguiar's heavy duty multi-purpose cleaner. Really like this stuff. It's great for a job like this. It's not too harsh, but it is harsh enough to just lift everything off, give it a good clean. You can use this on your interior as well. It's pretty good stuff. Apart from when I gave the bottle a good shake just now, it split the bottle there, so that's not so great, but yeah, it's a good product anyhow. And then for the final wipe down and protectant, give it a bit of shine, we're going to be using Meguiar's Supreme Shine High Gloss Protectant. I don't really like using this stuff in my interior, on my dash and my door cards, because it's just a bit too shiny, but I've found that it works really good for engine bays, gives it a nice layer of protection and gives it just enough of a shine, enough of a clean up without making it too sort of silicone-y, if you like, too bright. So yeah, it's pretty good stuff. So for the cleaner, we're just going to use an old rag. I can't see the point of using a microfiber because it's likely to get caked in dirt and oil normally. I often use a brush just to agitate things if it's pretty bad. It's not really that bad today, so we're not going to bother with it today. I've never really seen the point of buying a dedicated proper detailing brush for the engine bay because it soon gets caked with dirt and muck. So although proper detailing brushes are great for your interior, for your engine bay, I just buy some cheap paint brushes, give it a good clean and then just sling it out when you're finished. Move on to the next one when you come round to do it again. And then for the protectant, we're going to be using a proper microfiber just to apply that. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so first off, we're just going to look round and see if there's any loose bits and pieces, leaves and whatnot. So we're just going to get rid of them first, just pick them out. They normally like to live up here in the plenum area, but you might find them around the edges here as well, especially if you park it under a tree, obviously. And then next up, we're going to give everything a good spray down and a good wipe just to get rid of all this muck, all these watermarks, all this type of thing, you know. So we'll start off with our multi-purpose cleaner, the heavy duty stuff. We'll try not to get it dribbling all over the place. A bit of a shame the bottle's split like this. It seems quite thin compared to the ones Meguiar's usually supply, but anyway, it is what it is. So we'll start here at the top, give that a good wipe down. I normally start at the plenum area and then work my way down to the front of the car. It's literally just spray and wipe. It's pretty straightforward process, really. Like I say, depending on how filthy your engine bay is, you might want to go for a real thorough clean to start off with. And next up, we'll move on to the edges of the engine bay. Then before we move further down the engine bay, I'm just going to look round the edges of the bonnet here. You can see there's quite a number of watermarks around the rear edge of the bonnet, just where the water's splashed up, especially when I've been washing the car. So I'll attack that bit next. Okay, so next up we're ready to move on into the engine bay. So I normally start off with the plenums and the earboxes and then work my way around from there. Now, it is worth mentioning the two places in this engine bay that are most likely to leak oil that you're going to see from the top here is the oil filler cap on this wee section here, and then especially the power steering reservoir. If you haven't replaced the O-ring in the cap there, it's likely that this is all going to be caked in dirt and grime as well, so it's good to focus on them, get them cleaned up, and then generally the rest of it shouldn't be too bad, but that's normally the worst two areas. So pretty lucky with these engines. For all the bad stuff that's said about them, the bad reputation that they have, it is fair to say that they're very well put together engines, and it's very rare that you find one with leaking rocker cover gaskets, leaking oil pan gaskets, you know, this type of thing. And I'm a big fan of the 6-cylinder BMW engines, but I'll tell you what, they're notorious for oil leaks, especially from, like I said, the rocker cover gasket, oil pans and whatnot. So like I say, for an engine with such a bad reputation, once you actually start digging a bit deeper and really looking into it, they are a very well put together engine. Okay, then from there we'll move on to the front slam panel here, top of the lights, and then round the top of the weather seal here and the grills, and then we're done. Alright, so that's the cleaning done, so we'll just give that a chance to dry off for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go through with our protectant. Alright, so now that that's had a couple of minutes to dry, we'll go through with our Supreme Shine. Now, you don't need to go mad with this stuff, you only need a thin layer. It does go on pretty good. See that? Just gives a nice layer of protection there. Gives a little bit of shine, but it's not that super glossy like that real heavy silicone stuff you often get with engine bay detailers. So yeah, quite like this stuff, eh? Especially for my engine bay. Now we've got it all protected, I'll just go through with a clean microfiber and just give everything a second wipe down just to make sure we've got everything, and it'll just sort of even it out and blend it all in nicely. Alright guys, so there we have it. We've got our shiny S85 V10 engine sitting in our nice clean M5 engine bay there. So as you can see, very straightforward procedure, just something you want to be quite disciplined with and keep up with on a regular basis, and it's literally just spray and wipe down, clean, spray and protect. Simple as that. Hang on. one last job to do. Look at the state of this, we can't be having that. That's enough to drive me insane. We'll flip that over and we'll pretend that we're in the northern hemisphere. Sorted. So I hope this satisfies some of you guys out there that have been commenting on how clean my engine bay is when I'm often working on it in them previous DIY videos, and hopefully it'll answer some of them questions on how to go about cleaning it and maintaining it yourself. If you found the video interesting or useful, don't forget to give it a like and make sure you check out the rest of our YouTube channel for more M5 content. I'm MTech Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.